So I just want to let everybody know that we were talking about what I would do to change in the world. Let's start with like you said, start with us. Start with one person. One person started a whole change.
I think it's important to really start loving on yourself, and then collectively, one by one, the world will heal.
That's right. Hello.
I was going to say good morning.
She's on the morning schedule.
How's everybody?
Welcome to Together We Rise.
And we're rising.
We're levitating.
Yes, absolutely.
Because we have a very special guest.
We certainly do. So we're all three are going to levitate together, right?
That's right. We're going to hit to the moon. We're going to go to the moon together. Woo!
We're so happy you're here with us. We are mother-daughter dynamic duo. I am Coach Rochelle.
I'm Coach Alicia Schwartz.
And
yes,
we have been coaching for 27 years or more in relationships and mental wellness. And it's a very, very rewarding, I believe, business, or how would you say it? Business?
I would say service. Really. Service
We're
to others.
servicing you.
Well,
we are.
Well, we are
what I
providing
mean.
the space for you to heal yourself.
It is. It's just an exciting opportunity for us and for our clients to really create the best of themselves. And we want to welcome our sponsors, and that is the International Wellness Alliance with Elaine Sugar, who is the CEO and founder, Mick Factor from Mick Hunt, and
our social media men that are amazing.
Yeah,
Prex Agency, you rock. Thank you for doing all the work you're doing for us.
Because you know that
without you, we wouldn't be where we are.
That is true.
So,
and please subscribe to our
YouTube
channel. That would be awesome. We would love you to do that.
And Spotify, wherever you get your podcast.
Apple.
Yeah.
And we also do a free discovery call. And we would love for you to DM us. Oh, we're on Linktree too.
No, we send them the Linktree.
Well, I see. What can I tell you? I wasn't born in the age of computers.
Age of Aquarius.
I think I do very well, but there's still things I just.
That's who she is, everybody. That's who she is. We love her anyway. So that's what we're talking about now. So why don't you
I'm going to read you something.
Beautiful quote, Roche.
Yes. It's from heart to heart, soul to soul.
Isn't that pretty? Okay.
And so let me read this. I'll put on my glasses and I will read it. So just close your eyes. And it's called Boundless. And just take a nice deep breath and just feel what it is that I'm going to read to you. It says, what is love? Love is that power that takes over your body and fills your spirit. It is the mind disappearing and melting into the abyss. It is the endless, limitless, boundaryless, expansive. It is home and knowing we are all connected. It is beyond me and everywhere. Love is what is. Just take that in. It feels so good to really just ground yourself in that feeling of love. And I'm just so excited. I am so excited. We have such a cool guest.
All right. Well, without any further ado, let's welcome Barbara.
Come on down, Barbara. Beckley.
Oh my God. I am on the show. I feel I got celebrities in front of me right now.
Well, I guess what you see in us is yourself too.
That's it,
oh, see, we all come together, but I want to give you some love, queens. I'm just so glad to be here. And, you just talked about love. So I want to start off by giving it to you. So thank you so much. This is an honor to be on your show.
Oh, well, thank you.
And we
feel
are
that love.
receiving it too.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So
It's
much.
really
Really.
nice.
Love it.
All right. Well, why don't you share a little bit about who you are, what you're up to in the world?
And I know you're up to some big things because I'm following you, girl.
And I love that. I love that color on you and that in the back, your screen there with those. I love that red
little
back
like
there.
Oriental thing going on.
Yes, I love that. That's awesome.
It might be time to change, but yeah. But no, real quickly, because I want to get into the conversation that we have right now. But my name is Barbara J. Beckley, as you said. And basically, I always say what I do is I just want to help people understand their real true purpose. Just who they are, not just the title, not just your name. You have something deep, a gift that I believe God has given you, but you need to show it because people need you, just like I need you too. You need me, we need each other. But if we don't understand who we are first and understand our gifts, then it's just like you're hidden. So with that, I help people do that. And then after that, I call the big V, and the big V is visibility, as we know. With that, I decided that since I do podcasts like you, Two Queens, and I started 7 years ago, and I decided to say, you know what? I think I'm going to start my own network. And that's what I'm doing right now. I got other shows that I'm coaching them and making sure their shows is running right and doing videos for them and coaching them and making things, making sure they can make some money too and all that kind of good stuff. So that's the business side of it. But my heart and soul is just to make sure people are out there showing up in their gifts.
And what made you get into what you do today? Like, how did that come about for you?
Oh,
how did it open up for you?
Well, I'm not going to go way back because I'm telling my age. Let me just go back half my age.
Yeah. Whatever works.
Let's just go back like maybe 20 years. But this is 20. We'll do 20. But yeah, I was always a shy person. And when I say that in front of people now, they look at me like I'm crazy. They're like, really, Barbara? Why are you lying? Why are you lying? I'm like, no, for real. I'm serious. I was very shy. Didn't want to be around people. Didn't want to network. None of that. And worked in the insurance industry, and I still do during the day, for over, now I'm going to really tell my age. Now it's going to be 40 years to be exact.
Wow.
This industry. I've been the company where I'm right now for 24 years.
Wow.
And with all those years, 15 years in, my manager, which you never know people, this is just a little tip for people out there. You never know who's watching you that sees your gifts before you do. So I have to give so much love to my manager at the time because she basically took me to the side and she's like, Barbara, you do such a wonderful job here. You're good with the clients. I mean, she was just giving me all these accolades and stuff. And I was like, okay, what's the punchline? In back of my mind.
Right. Why is she doing this?
Why are you pulling me to the side? Or why are we in a conference room? And should I get my purse? Am I getting walked out? What's going on? But basically she's like, no, we're not firing you or nothing. She said, but I want to see you rise, and look at this, together we rise. Right. Rise within the company, rise whatever you want to do, but you're quiet. No one really knows you. You've been here for 15 years and people still don't know you around here. I said, and then back in my mind, I'm like, I come here every day. I'm at my desk every day, 8 hours. What are you telling? They don't know me. She said, they don't. You don't network. You don't really speak. You kind of just come in, your time, and come out. And that was a wake-up call for me. I mean, a true wake-up call. First of all, for her to even take the time out to tell me that, she sees something in me and she wants to help me in that area. So she brought me to understanding, now that I'm in an organization, it's been 14 years now, Toastmasters. So that was my first platform to really get my communication and leadership skills back on track intact. And then I told myself, after I got up the rank in that area, I went from just being a member to being a president of a club to going district. I mean, I just kind of climbed the ladder. I always say, if I want to do something, I want to do it big. So that's what I said. If I want to let's just do the whole thing, whatever I had to do, right? But it was helping me, first of all, understand who I was, and knowing that I mattered, that I, made a difference. And I didn't really think that at the time. And then with going through that, I found my own voice. And I told myself, I said, now that I found my voice and now I've been speaking and all that kind of stuff on stage, now I'm moving to it now, I said, I never want anybody to feel that way. I never want anybody to feel like they're small or their voice doesn't mean anything. I don't care. Some people are like, well, you don't talk a certain way. You don't say your words right and all that.
Right.
You be you. That's who you are. That's what makes you different than everybody else.
Correct.
Make sure they understand what you're saying, but being so, proper and prim and everything, because somebody told me a long time ago, they said, Barbara, you'll never be a speaker. And I'm like, why you say that? It's because you don't pronounce your words right. I'm like, at first I was hurt. Then I was going to go back into the hole, because after they said that, I was like, well, maybe, you know how that goes. Those little
voices inside, doubt, fear.
Yep.
And she said that, it seemed like it just was trying to grow a tree in my head. And I was like, well, maybe she's right. What am I thinking about? I'm just, it was just going.
I get it. Yep.
And then the snowball effect happened. And it stumped me for a minute. And then somebody, again, like I said, those little angels I said that come in your life came back and said, when are you going to do something with this? I said, with what? They said, with your speaking, and you want to help people and bring out their purpose. They said, why are you not doing that? I said, because somebody told me I'll never be a speaker.
that on.
Right, and then we don't do anything.
We don't do it because we believe what they said.
And it's not even about us, and we take it on.
Yeah. So now when I help other people and coach them, because I coach a lot of people too because a part of doing podcasts and having shows is understanding how to speak, have your own voice and everything. Mm-hmm. And I do that too when I'm coaching. And they're like, well, Barbara, how they, I'm timid in this. I said, you know what? Everybody, there's somebody out there that needs you.
Yep.
I was telling them that. I said, somebody that might resonate with you, they might not resonate with me. Or they might never resonate with you too, but they might resonate with somebody else. There's two people in the world to sit there and say, we're all just, everybody gets this. No, it doesn't work that way. So that's why I said, what your uniqueness will draw other people and help them come out and give them hope, whatever you're talking about. And they were like, wow. So that's why I do what I do, because I don't want people to feel that way. And I get really, upset when I hear people like, well, maybe you shouldn't do that. Or maybe you shouldn't. I was like, what are you doing? Get attitude quick, because I was like, don't do that to them. Don't tamper with their gifts. Don't tamper with their uniqueness, because that's their gifts. That's something that's going to blossom. But if you do it the wrong way and say, well, maybe you should do this instead of that, then you're dampening their purpose. Yeah.
It's like, who are we to interfere?
Right.
What are we, the general manager of the universe for this?
Who made you? Who made you?
Exactly.
It is. It's true. And when you say to somebody, you shouldn't do this, it's like you're shitting all over yourself. That's what I always say, because we're all individuals and no one path is the right path. That's what makes us so unique.
Yep.
So, when I look at, let's say, I'm on Instagram or wherever I am, and I see all these people doing that, I used to fall into that, going, oh my God, maybe I should do that. Or maybe I should And it's like, drives you crazy, because you have your own unique gifts. And we all have our own fingerprints. Mm-hmm. And so why not use your gifts? There are going to be people out there that want to hear what you have to say.
Absolutely.
Yes, Queen.
So, and not to minimize yourself and lower yourself why somebody feels so much better. We're all on the same.
We're all one.
All one. Every single one of us.
When you peel the layers back, we all want the same thing.
Yeah.
To be heard, to be loved, to be seen. Yeah. Right? I mean, that's what we all want. Definitely. So, with that being said, we're going to ask you some fun questions.
Fun, I like fun.
So with what you're saying, really, and about using your unique gifts, if God could speak to you, what would the message be that he wants you to know? Today, because today is a new day. Yeah. Yesterday, it could have been something different.
Well, God, I believe God always speaks to me, period. And hopefully he speaks to everybody else. We're his children. That's what I say. So I every day when I hear him in the small voice, as I say, small, soft voice, is that, I love you and you are loved. And I wake up that way all the time, because that starts my day. In fact, every morning when I get up, I always do devotions first. I listen to my favorite. She's Joyce Myers. If a lot of people
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
yes, I love Joyce
I
Myers.
listen to her
She's
before I go to
awesome.
sleep.
Yes, see, yes, she's on my phone everywhere. I follow her around everywhere.
Yeah,
But
she's great.
I listen to her in the mornings, and then I listen to praise and worship music, and then I start my day. And I always hear. That's why I always say I always be quiet so I can hear his voice to tell me what I'm saying. And he always, no matter what, it's always either I love you or you can do this or I have your back. So
Mm,
I feel like those are the messages that God always gives me to keep it moving forward.
nice.
Yeah.
And do you ask God when there are questions that you're not sure about during the day and something comes up?
Oh yeah.
What is it that you do?
Yeah.
If things,
Well, before I used to
you
get
don't,
before I used to get frustrated. I'm just gonna
right,
be, we're human, right? I mean,
Human,
we're
absolutely.
human and it's gonna happen. I get frustrated before I used to get really frustrated, like, and I was staying in that frustration for a little while. And then now I've learned, okay, if I don't know if I'm having issues or just don't have it right then and there,
Yeah.
I just ask God, to guide me and give me the peace right now. So that's when
Mm,
I kind of shut down and get quiet because
mhm,
now I know that I need to listen and see what's going on and just not getting all frazzled. Because it seemed like when I was getting all frazzled and upset, you think about it, time is of the essence, right? We can't get time back. So I'm
yep,
wasting
that's right.
10, 15, 20, all these minutes. Get further. I don't understand.
That's
Then
true.
telling somebody else, you know what? I don't understand it. Then I tell somebody else. And I was like, wow, all this time was taken. And all I had to do was sit back, take that. I always say the usha. I do like this. I say I do usha moment.
mhm,
Mm,
Really just, because when I do is I feel like I'm bringing myself back to one.
mhm.
yeah.
And then that's what I do to get myself some peace because I always tell people, and people probably get upset about this, what I'm about to say. I don't care. You know why? Because
You
it's
go
true.
for it.
Yeah,
Yep.
it is. Yeah.
We control our feelings and how we are, what we do. We control that. You know how some people say, well, they made me upset.
Of
They pissed
course.
me off, or they said that. And I was like, but it was up to you to take it in
That's
and
right.
let it disturb your peace.
Yep.
Correct.
Right? So
Yep.
we can always say no. No is a complete sentence. I always hear people say. You can always move away. You can always shut it down. Whatever you have to do. So I feel like when we start saying, "Well, they made me upset. Why are you upset? Because they felt this way and they told me this. Now I'm upset about it." So you just let them take their garbage out of their backyard and put it in yours.
Exactly.
So yeah. So I always tell people we always have a choice to feel how we feel.
Yeah, and I think that's so empowering to ourselves is to take that
Yeah,
level of
take it back.
responsibility and take it back and
Mhm.
own the fact that you have the
Yep.
choice and that you don't have to point your finger
Nope.
out there. Three are pointing back at you.
That is so true. We love to use that because it's
It's
the truth.
true.
Yeah.
It's all about projection,
That's a whole nother
Yes,
conversation.
but that
We said
is
that's a whole nother, that's a whole nother, yeah.
yeah.
That's a whole nother segue.
So another question is, what was your biggest struggle in your life, and how did you overcome it?
Mm. I had to say just current been a struggle for me because with my health this year for 2024, it's been a really interesting year for me. Between the month of August to now, and I know we talked in the virtual green room a little while ago of some health issues that I had, and I was in the hospital 3 times this year. I was in the hospital in August. I was in the hospital in September. And I was in the hospital just 5 weeks ago.
Wow.
And it was back to back to back. And
Hmm.
I mean, one part of it was almost life threatening because the second time I was in the hospital, they found blood clogs around my lungs. And they had to keep me for 5 days and give me blood thinner to keep it down. And I was just saying to me, I was laying in the hospital bed. I'll never forget that second time I was in the room. And I was like, okay, first time I didn't like being in the hospital because I was dehydrated. So the first time I went in, just to give a little story,
Yeah.
I I couldn't again. I wasn't eating. I was like I had to stop eating, and it wasn't because I didn't want to eat. It was just I couldn't eat. It's like I couldn't taste nothing. Whatever. So I'm thinking, okay, is this COVID? I said, I hope not. This is not COVID. And then the doctor's like, no, it's not COVID. And then I was getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And I had to wind up going to the doctor, emergency. And they told me, you are very dehydrated. So they had to give me on fluids, keep me, my blood pressure was 250.
Whoa.
They said I should have been dead. That's what they
Yeah.
told me.
Yeah.
They said, I can't believe you're walking and talking to us right now, Barbara. I was looking around like, they said, your heart doesn't feel bad. They said, are you? And they were putting, they put EKG and stuff. They were like, Barbara, I said, what? I said, I'm just so weak. And they're like, Barbara, do you know your blood pressure? You're talking to us right now. The nurses, they could not believe I was sitting there talking and moving. So that was the first time, I was laying there, but I still had something that I should not touched. And it was this. I was in the hospital and I was still checking for what? Still checking my emails, still checking to make sure certain projects that I was supposed to be done, still following up with people, to the point where the nurse looked at me and she said, and I was like, give me that, like a little kid. I'm like, what you doing? He said, that's why you're here. I said, it was like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the heavens open up and it's like, okay, we're here to tell you something. Do you get it yet? So that was a big challenge for me because, first of all, I like moving. I like always doing things. I never was a person just to sit around. But I think, with what happened with me 3 times, not just 1 time, that there was something that was trying to be said to me to say, okay, Barbara, first of all, you need to do self-care.
Yep.
Thing. Second of all, you need to really just be at peace. And you said you want to build your relationship, especially with God, because I've been building that for the whole year. You're still not taking that time. So when the second time I went in the hospital, especially when they told me about the blood clogs, that's when I laid in the bed and I was like, okay, this is a big challenge, because I didn't really understand. I mean, I understood what blood clogs were and everything, but it really didn't seep in until the doctor and they really explained to me what could happen. I mean, they said, you can die from that, Barbara. You can die. And they said, if we didn't catch it in time and you would have went back home, so I was like, so when they said all that, that's what really stopped me and said, I need to do something here. This is not going the right way. Yeah.
Wow. And then the third time. And then the third time.
And then the third time. So then the third time, what? I got a break from the hospital for what? Maybe 6 weeks. And then I go back 911. I had to call the ambulance this time to pick me up because I couldn't even get in my car to get to the hospital. Basically, I felt like there was pains in my stomach to the point where I feel like there was like knives just hitting my stomach. And I was limped over and I just could not even walk to the door. I mean, I'm so glad that I had my hand. I was just raising my hand to just open the door to let the paramedics in. And I was like, oh my God. And then they had okay, sometimes people say some weird stuff. Okay, this is a little laugh.
Yes,
sure.
Oh, they walk in there, I'm on the floor, opening the door, and what do they say? What do they ask? Are you Barbara Beckley? Are you the one that's sick?
No, it's my twin.
Yeah. I just like laying on the floor like this, this
right?
And I'm just so in pain. But you know what? I thought this was funny for everybody.
That is so funny. So what do you think the lesson was for you in all these 3 wake-up calls, really, if you think about it, right? So what was the biggest message from this?
Biggest message is to love on me. Yeah. I was so busy making sure everybody else was okay, making sure all the products that I needed for people to be done, making sure I was coaching everything. And Barbara wasn't putting love on herself. And you know how they always say, how can you help others in life?
Yep.
If you are not right yourself.
Yeah. Put the oxygen mask on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That oxygen mask was nowhere to be found.
It was in the closet somewhere.
I don't know where it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what advice would you give to your youngest self?
Ooh.
Now that you've been through all this.
And that's just this year. We and there's a whole nother shows that I got to come on
Yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah. No, trust me, we got many
We're going
shows.
to do it.
I always tell people, I say, some people say, well, I haven't had so much. I said, let's live a little longer. I always tell people, just live a
Right.
little longer, you'll hit some things.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
that's why we all have our stories. But I would tell my younger self to be fearless and be bold, no matter what anybody says.
Mm.
That's what I would tell my younger self. And then I would tell my younger self, all the times that you were upset with your mother, don't be upset at her because she was trying to teach you to do that and you kept fighting it. So yeah,
Mm.
me and my mother had a different relationship. I loved her to death. I truly, and I know she loved me, but she was the hardcore hard knocks person.
Yeah, I
And
know
I
that
understand
one.
she got that because she was getting it when she was younger. I mean,
Yep.
Sure.
Yep.
so
Generational.
Generational trauma
Yep.
wounds.
yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And it was hitting hard. And I was only child. So I was like, I can't even get sister or brother to take some of this. It was like, oh, this all
Boom,
me.
boom.
Yeah.
Mm.
All me. Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, what activities in your life really light you up and bring joy to your heart? What's that
Mm.
like for you?
Well, I love to journal. And I love to, well, this is what I like to do. I like to get my journal, get in the
Mm-hmm.
car, go by the lake, because I live in Wisconsin, Kenosha, Wisconsin. So I live right by the lake, one of the Michigan lakes.
Mm-hmm.
And I go there and I just, well, not now because it's cold, but
Right. Exactly.
but if I was, and sometimes, well, I have to take that back because sometimes I go there, it's cold, I just have the windows up and everything, and I still sit
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I just really meditate and I really just write in my journal of all the things that I've done. I put my celebrations in the journal. I put things down that I'm still trying to figure things out. I put
Mm-hmm.
things about how I just love certain, people in the world. I write down, that I love my God and he's helping me out every day. So I just kind of just really just dive into that. That's one of my wonderful
Mm-hmm.
activities I like to do. And I like the bowl. I love the bowl.
Bowling, I love bowling. That's so
Wow.
fun. Oh my
Yes.
God, I love that. Well, this is great because what did you enjoy the most about your childhood?
Yeah.
Now that we're talking about like what lights you
Yeah.
up,
Hmm.
what do you remember about your childhood that
You enjoyed.
you enjoyed?
Ooh, okay. So when my father, God rest his soul, he passed away when I turned 17. But before then, he made my childhood really fun because he loved to
Mm,
have fun. One of the things he would do every year for the 4th of July is he always found a spot. Well, back in the day, then they didn't really arresting people for fireworks and doing fireworks. Now it's a whole different world.
oh, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, so you can't just go and do whatever. But he would always find
Right.
a big field, whatever, and he would get all these fireworks. And I get so excited because I said, boy, 4th of July, we gonna have a party. We gonna
Right.
celebrate
Light it up.
and light it up. And all my friends, he would have, then we cook out and stuff. And then he would, nighttime comes and then we would have, and it would last for like 30, 45 minutes. Um,
Wow.
and that was amazing. And like I said,
Mm.
every year that happened until the year before he passed. I told him, I said, are we gonna, because he said, well, I didn't think you want to do it, Barbara. You're like, at that time I was 16. I said, yeah, I'm always looking forward for the fireworks.
Yeah.
But he said,
Yeah.
well, things changed a little bit. I don't want us to get in trouble. So what he did, he moved. He was in a 4 flat where he lived at, and then he could get on the rooftop. So what he did is we were on the roof with the fireworks, and that's all you
That's fun. That's
that was
fun.
there. So I always remember that because
And
it was
did you guys have like a favorite food that you used to cook during that
Together?
time together?
oh
What was that?
lasagna.
Lasagna.
Ooh.
I can't we love
Woo-hoo.
Italian food anyway, and that lasagna because my father used to bake and cook and stuff.
I
Oh,
just had, yeah, I just had this
Wow.
feeling to ask you that
Do you
yeah.
make
about
it for
cooking.
yourself?
No, no, no. I don't want to mess with the lasagna. No, I don't trust me on that one. I'll
So,
get the garlic bread, but I
right.
So the last question is,
Oh, sorry.
if you were able to change the world as it is today, what changes would you make and why?
Ooh, If I
I
was to
know.
change the
I
world
know.
today,
It's a loaded one.
It is.
It's
this
not
is
a
a loaded
simple.
question, Queens. You know
It is.
this.
I know. We like to ask the loaded at the end.
I'm gonna
Give it
try
a
to be
bang.
as politically correct as whatever. No, I'm just,
That's it.
I shouldn't even say politically because that's gonna start the whole thing. No,
Right. We don't need that. Yeah.
yeah, I don't want you to edit too much. No, what I would do, and this is something that this is like another mission in my mind that I try to figure out what can I do to create peace
Mm.
amongst races.
Mm.
I am
Mm.
so sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired that people feel like that just because you're a different race, a different whatever gender,
I
Right.
know.
Yep.
you're so different. I'm just so tired of that. And people, I'm like a spy, and the reason why I say I'm a spy is because my dad was white and my mother was black. So,
Ah.
but you can't
Uh,
tell. You can't tell.
no, no,
And I
no.
lived around, I mean, I grew up around all races when I went to school until I got to like high school, college. And I never really felt, and people say, well, Barbara, didn't you ever get some of the races from you? I said, you know what? The schools I went to, we were brought in. I was at a magnet school, so we were all brought in from different, all everywhere. So
Yeah.
I didn't really feel it
Yeah.
until I got into college. And I was like, it's kind of sad that I got older and now I got to deal with this.
This.
Is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I can change that, oh my God. If I can just get a magic wand, bing,
Yeah.
and we're all just loving each other and there's
I
no.
And that's
know.
what it is. But that love starts with us, and then
Yeah.
collectively, it will praying it gets out into the world because we need it so badly.
Yeah, and it reminds me of when I went to school too, because I had a
Yeah.
learning disability, and I was in learning disability classes, and there was every kind of person you can imagine. So I never really had like, oh, that
Yeah.
person's Latino, and this person's black, and I'm white, and
Yeah, I
we
never
were
did
all we all
either.
had learning challenges. That's all I knew. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? There was no segregation. There was
No.
no separation.
No.
Nope.
I know
We
until
never
you
had
get
that
older,
either
and then
growing
you
up.
start to see all of this. You're like,
It's,
wow.
Yeah.
yeah. It's like, and people always used to always kid with me. I mean, I'll make this real quick. People used to always say, Barbara, why you always want to live in Disneyland? I'm like, what are you talking about Disneyland? They said, because you just want, I want everybody to love each other. I want everybody to be together. And always we come to kumbaya and stuff. I mean, they would and they look at me like, okay, now let's get you out of Disneyland and get you in the real world. And I was like, well, I don't like the real world because they
That's
don't
right. I
know.
like Disneyland, and that's the great. That's the
That's a
great
gift.
gift of the power of the mind and choosing where you want to live in. What mindset? Where do you want to live? Do you want to live in that Disneyland, and then, or do you want to? It's like, and even that they made wrong.
Yeah.
Do you
Well,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, they kind of messed up Disneyland, but
Right?
so
No,
I'll
I
make
choose Disneyland.
Disney sounds good to me.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
We'll join you.
Yeah,
We'll join
that
you
is
at
for
Disneyland.
sure. Boy.
Well, I know that people are watching
And
and
they
they
want
want to
you.
find out
Yes.
where they can, speak with you or connect with you. Can you share that with everybody, and then so that they can find you?
yes, sure. Well, you can find me www.barbarajbeckley.com. That's my website. And then I'm on all social media. I'm in everywhere there. But I just can I just leave something real quick? Or
Oh,
just,
Of course,
absolutely.
absolutely.
so I just want to let everybody know that we were talking about what I would do to change in the world. Let's start with like you said, start with us. Start with one person. One person started a whole change. And I'm gonna put it out there. It was, God, He started it with His Son. And I'm telling you right now, if we can just take one piece and say, okay, let's make peace with another person,
Yeah.
we can get to that point. But we have to want it. We have to really want it and just keep moving at it and don't give up. And teach the young, I call them the youngies, the young
Yeah.
ones,
It's true.
the young ones, about the love, about the
Yeah.
people. I feel like if you teach about love, all that other stuff, the racism stuff, it falls to the side because
Yep.
love conquers all. No
That's
matter
right.
what. If you could show love, then all the other stuff wouldn't even really be there. It would be like you just sizzle, go away.
Yeah,
Correct.
because it goes back to the light.
Yeah.
when you send that light of love out there, the darkness disappears because there's no room for it.
And love heals. Love
Yeah,
really heals.
yeah.
You know,
And we've
it's
seen it.
really,
Think about it. When 9/11 hit,
yeah.
everybody got together. I don't care who's
That's
what.
it.
Absolutely. Yep.
When the COVID hit, I mean, we couldn't do that.
Yep.
We were in our houses. I mean, what could we do?
Right.
So we had to come together. So there, I know we can do it. We just
I
need
agree.
to continue to do it. Continue to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a great ending to tonight's
Yeah.
call. It's like love wins. So tonight, everybody go out there
And just love
Just
on yourself and then love on
that's
others.
right. Bring love. Say something to someone
Yeah.
maybe that you wouldn't normally say, and walk up and say, you know what, you look beautiful today, or love your smile, or
Yeah. It's true. Even if they are shocked most of the time when you say to somebody, oh, you're so good looking, or you look so great. And they're shocked, or you even say good morning.
yeah.
It's something like foreign when it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. No.
Yeah. So, I think it's important to really start loving on yourself, and then collectively, one by one,
One by one.
the world will heal.
That's
The
right.
world will heal.
So we thank you so
Yes.
much, Barbara, for coming on and being with us today, and for sharing
We
your
love
gifts and
you.
your heart with us and the
Yes.
world that watches.
We resonate with you so much.
You
Yes.
just, I like being in Disneyland
Yeah.
with you.
Yes. Come on. Let's have
Yeah.
fun.
You're like a soul sister. You really are.
And we so appreciate
We
what you're
do.
doing in the world and how you're giving your
Thank you.
gifts.
And I just
Yeah.
want to add one thing. Talking about love, on Sundays, I had gotten this in a meditation to do a very brief meditation on love, which is called Sacred Sundays with Love. And it's on Eastern Time at 10 o'clock every Sunday.
On Instagram.
On Instagram, thank you.
Yep.
And it's just, my heart. It's a meditation, it's an intention, what you want to bring out, and perhaps some affirmations, just to start that day, and then perhaps maybe pick something for the week. So you just have something that you can always go to.
Yes.
And so, what, you want to say something?
No, I think it's amazing. I think it starts your week off in a really powerful way. Sunday you start your intention and meditation with Rochelle, and she'll take you in this love machine.
The love machine.
The love machine. I like that.
The love machine is like the Volkswagen with peace signs.
Oh yeah. With the
Remember that?
And surfboards on the back. Right.
It's so true.
an orange one when I was
Yeah, I like the pink. The
Yeah.
pink would be my
Oh,
speed.
God.
You can
Yeah.
have your orange one.
Yeah.
You can all get in the love machine.
Yeah.
the love machine. Just
And so I'm just going to leave you with a saying that is, love is the beauty of the soul.
So everyone breathe that in, and the
Yeah.
love that we share with you, Barbara,
Yes.
and your heart. Thank you so much for being here. We love you
We
so
love you.
much.
We do.
And we're sending you with a blanket of love for your
Yes.
health in 2025 to just be
Take care of yourself, loving
clean and
yourself.
clear, and you give yourself that blanket of love every day too.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor.
It's our honor.
Yay. So we'll see you in everybody. We'll see you in the next week or so
Yeah.
on our next podcast.
And then we're going to be coming on to yours next week.
That's right.
Yeah. Excited.
All right, everybody.
All right,
We love you. Thanks, Barbara.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mwah.
Mwah.